Welcome back to what Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an SU-14-2. It's a Soviet Tier 8 SPG and it's located on the north spawn of Fisherman's Bay under the command of Steel Mike. Now it's also known as the Special Duty Heavy Triplex, which is a bit of a mouthful really, but it's basically an SU-14-1 which has got the B4 howitzer, and which is the 203mm howitzer of 1050 alpha, and it's otherwise known as the school bus. And of course Rusty designed a school bus skin to go on the outside of this Arty. I know that Zoe has one which is actually looks like a chunky Kit Kat, and we sent a copy of that, a picture of that, off to Roundtree's, or was it Nestle, so they can actually see what it looked like, because it did look rather funny. Okay, well he's using the 203mm, the B4, and as I said, 1050 alpha, but you only get 16 rounds of ammo, and so that means that you can only do a limited amount of damage during the game, but if you can get a penetration, it's 1050. And he's fired a round in at the corner of that house because it's normally where somebody will be spotting right at the start of the match. Now penetrate up to 52mm of armor, and it's got a burst radius of 11.5 meters. That's for the standard ammo. Of course, this is going to be nerfed after the 1.5 update, which hasn't come in yet but will be soon. In fact, we're already getting bad reports of terrible accuracy and very poor damage from any vehicle which is tier 7 and over. So it looks like Wargaming have ruined their game if that's the case. Well, fired around at a T-44, but I don't think we hit him. Obviously we'll find out in the next couple of days, because update 1.5 is due to be released on the EU server in the next 2 days. But I think it's highly likely that if Arty has had their damage reduced and their stun reduced, then they're not going to be able to earn enough credits, and that's going to ruin the game, because it means there'll be fewer Arty in the game, and that means more games will end in draws. And draws are boring. I think most people find that draws are very boring. Going for a KV4, rounds out, looks good. It is good. And he actually hit the Emil 1 at the same time. But the enemy are coming up here in force on the western side of the battlefield. It's a 112, a T-44, an ELC M90 and the Scorpion G. And I get the feeling it'd be a good idea for Steel Mike to make a quick move to the east as quickly as he can, because if he doesn't, he's going to be facing invaders very shortly. He's got 3 teammates up in the northeast corner, and they've managed to kill the ELC. In fact, actually, I think it was a pilot 1 who managed to get him. 112's been killed. T-44's been killed. Oh, they're doing a fantastic job. Steel Mike doesn't need to relocate because they've managed to kill most of the attack. He's dialing in on a TS5 down at the corner. Rounds out. Oh, we hit him! He's still there. And if he penetrated the side of that TS5, he would have done a huge amount of damage to him. There, oh, you can see him now, but he didn't do a huge amount of damage, but he did hit him for quite a few hit points. And the TS5 has taken more hits. I think that one tracked him. Just waiting for the reload to complete. Rounds out. Oh no. Well, the mods are not working at the moment, so I can't tell you how long we've got until the reload's complete, but the reload on this one is 36.44 seconds according to the readout on the reticule. Yes, another change that's coming in 1.5 is that Wargaming are going to be, in fact it's coming in during the summer, Wargaming are going to be cutting down on some of the mods which are considered fair, and I do agree with some of the mod changes that they've actually made. But I certainly don't agree with the modifications to Arty's damage. A shot like that, which actually did 253 hit points of damage by splashing the target, the tank around the corner. Unfortunately, that sort of damage isn't going to be done in the future, because it'll be at the edge of the stun zone, edge of the blast radius, and as a consequence, it will actually suffer much less damage. I think Quickie Baby actually did a test to see exactly how much damage would be done to a tank which was at the edge, and it was minimal damage. But he has killed that Scorpion G with a direct hit. That's very welcome news, because it means now that the west side of the battlefield is now open to them, even though they're 2 tanks down. And Steel Mike's going to move over to the west side. A T-92 just got killed in the center line by the T-25 Pilot 1, and a Progetto is making his way up the center side on the west side, but he's being chased by a a Lorraine 40-ton. I almost said Loretto. I almost confused Loretto or Lorraine and Progetto. Unfortunately, we lost our Loretto. Did it again. We've lost our Lorraine. He was taken out by the Progetto, and the Progetto was killed by the Udez. Now, supposedly there's an SU-130PM over there, but we can't see him. But we still can see that IS-3 over on the east side of the map. The enemy have managed to break through the city, and that means they're probably headed this way. Or at least they'll go to the top of the map and come along the top. There's the AMX AC-48. Yes, he's leaving the city. The KV-4 is on the edge of the city. AC is taken out by our Emil, who's up at the center line. KV-4. Direct hit. 326 hit points by Steel Mike. Now he's got 8 rounds left. So he's down at 50% of his ammunition. But it's still 8 minutes of the game to go. So you can get all of those 8 shots out if the game lasts that long. Okay, Emil. Is it Emil 2 or Emil 1? I think it's an Emil 1. Just seen over on the west side. I guess the only tank that was spotting him was the Hawk 12. And he's come further north. So the only tank, apparently the only tank on the enemy team that's still over there is the IS-3. Oh, he was still there. Steel Mike was right. He was still there. And that shell probably did splash him. And the reload timer is now working again. Occasionally these mods won't function correctly and you don't see the correct reload time. They normally work during the battle though. Okay, he's marked the target. I think he thinks it's still behind that house. Loaded. Rounds out straight away. And it looks to me like the IS-3 probably pulled away from that position knowing that he was behind cover. Oh, he wasn't. He was still there. And he is showing stun and a loss in hit points. So I think Steel Mike did get a hit. Now, so far, Steel Mike's managed to get 995 hit points of actual damage recorded, but he has fired a lot of shells at targets which were unsighted, and so he's probably scored much more in the way of damage to the enemy. Fires a round in at that IS-3, but unfortunately he was unsighted at the time, so we don't know how much damage he did there. Emil 1. He's a one-shot. If we splash him, he'll die. Still a few seconds. I think Steel Mike wants the T25 Pilot 1 or the Emil to look for the IS-3 because he's up in the northeast corner of the map. There he is. If he's been located, he's actually coming towards Steel Mike. Steel Mike is the closest to him right now, and the T25 did kill him from the center line. There's the SU-130. He came up to the tree line to have a look. Dialing in. Oh, we lost sight of him. There's the Emil. Dialed in fully. Oh, and he was. Oh my gum, he killed the SU-130. He aimed at the Emil, but he killed the SU-130. He was directly behind him. And so, yes, that's a nice kill, that is. I thought that was going to be a wasted shell, but it wasn't wasted in the slightest. It actually did help the team a lot. They've now killed 2 tank destroyers in quick succession. It wasn't 2 tank destroyers, it was a tank destroyer and a heavy tank. Oh, nice shot on the T28 prototype. And oh, and he's gone. That means there is only 1 enemy tank remaining. It's the GW Tiger P. And he hasn't been spotted yet, but we do believe he's probably down in the southeast corner of the map. The Hawk 12 is rushing down to the cap area. So's the UDIS. The Emil 1's closing in as well. Okay, we're loaded, ready to go. See where the Hawk is. I think he's going to be in that set of bushes directly north of where we're looking right now. Just there. That's it. That's where I think he is. That's a very good position to shoot north into the city from. They're closing in. Fires a round in. Oh, he's actually down below. He's decided to get close to the river to try and hide, but it didn't work. And yes, so he was in the bushes originally, but he must have moved for protection's sake. Of course, you can't go under the bridge anymore because it's now restricted. So, end of battle results. It's an ace tanker for Steel Mike in the SU-14-2, the school bus. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 21. And a Gore's medal for doing more damage than 10 times the hit points for his own vehicle. He also picked up a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, and the High Calibre for dealing out the most damage in that game overall. And yes, he did hit the enemy for quite a lot of hit points. That IS-3 took 255 hit points from those blind shots, and the TS-5, oh my gum, he took blind shots for 888 hit points in total. Let's have a look at team score. There you go, top of the table, 3,836 hit points of damage, beating the AMX AC on the enemy team with 3,697. When it came to kills though, it was in fact the T25 Pilot number 1. He did 5 kills, the GW Tiger P on the enemy team did 4, and we can see that Steel Mike managed to get 2 kills. When it came to base XP though, Steel Mike's at the top. He got 1,250 base experience points, and that's because he got so much stun assistance as well. And the next highest score after that was the T25 Pilot number 1 with 959, and the Emil 1 with 893. He fired 14 rounds, so he only had 2 rounds spare at the end of the game. Got 6 direct hits on the enemy, only 1 penetration, splash damage on 13. Damage of 3,836 hit points, and all at more than 300 meters. He damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 2 of them, and did damage assistance of 199 hit points, and stun assistance of 890 hit points off 12 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 61,131 credits, and after ammunition resupply, and this ammo is expensive, he came away with 34,391 credits. He received 1,875 XP, times 2 for the first victory, took away 3,750 experience points altogether. So a very good round there by Steel Mike in the school bus. You can see, even though it's only got a limited amount of ammunition, you can have a major effect upon the battle. And it was a very good idea of Steel Mike to take those blind shots, because he actually was hitting the target when he was taking them, and so that had a big effect upon the overall outcome of the battle. And best of all was that shot on the SU-130 PM, because he actually aimed it at the Emil 1 and hit the SU-130 behind him. So even though the Emil 1 had just been killed, the SU-130 was the next in line, and he must have felt pretty sick actually, because he lost 816 hit points from that one shot alone. So yes, oh my god, to see your teammate blow up and then you blow up the next second, that must have been pretty amusing. Oh well. If you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.